Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Wrestling World Talks with Dan and Mac.
Oh, everybody! Welcome to PWW Talks on the eve or the weekend, I guess if you're hearing this, of Independence Day, the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States. And I can honestly say we are at its highest point of a country right now. Didn't say that with a hint of sarcasm whatsoever.
It's actually why I played Jay Sherman as soon as you said that. Like, it stinks.
On top of the fact of it's America's birthday, it is a royal wedding being held at Madison Square Garden this weekend, as well as Taylor Swift will be marrying Travis, I'm not as good as Gronk, Kelsey. I was talking about this with the missus this morning, and she's just like, does she really deserve to get married at Madison Square Garden? And the answer is no! She does not! She does not deserve to get married at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena.
I love how we're 90 seconds into this show and we're angering the Swifties already.
Hey, I'm not trying to look. Does she belong getting married at Madison Square Garden? Let's theorize this here. The only two people I could consider getting married at Madison Square Garden was Jay-Z and Beyonce, only because they're two pop culture icons. They're two massive musicians, musical artists, I guess you could say. Same thing with Taylor Swift. She's in Beatles and Elvis territory as far as record sales, as far as tour sales, and all that. I cannot knock the success that she has had. Travis Kelce, though, I can knock because he sucks. He sucks.
Okay, so if we're going with that logic, then fine. I'm okay with that.
Yes, that's my logic. I'm fine with Travis. I'm fine with Taylor Swift. It's just the fact that, like, she's a worldwide icon. She's up there with the Beatles and Elvis as far as musical artists and historic history. Every metric you could think of, Taylor Swift is up there.
I mean,
Travis
what the fuck
Kelce
is
sucks.
that?
That's the long and short of it, out of all of that. So we have a lot to unpack because, of course, last weekend was a super duper wrestling weekend where we had four major shows happening. One from WWE, one from NXT, one from TNA, and one from AEW. And massive seismic shifts came out of that shows, at least for one of them. Some of them also setting up the groundwork for their biggest show that'll be coming up at Wembley Stadium this summer, and that's, of course, AEW. We'll get in touch base on that. But first, I believe it is time to lead off with the major story of the week. We have a new WWE Undisputed Champion, and it is, I guess we'll go through the rest of the card first before we go into that. But at least that's prefacing what is the massive story of the week, because it depends who you talk to in the wrestling fandom. Some people are pissed off, the other people are not. But let's get this started anyways.
So hold on. Before you say that, I want to unpack that for a second. I'm indifferent. I'm not really happy about it. I'm not really mad about it. I'm somewhere in the middle of like, show me what you're going to do next. And that's where I'm afraid. And we'll
show me the Carfax.
Yeah, show me the Carfax, exactly. I think we'll talk about it as the card kind of expands. We talk about it more, but yeah, I'm on the fence. So I might as well just jump right into it. I'm going to do what we did last week and just kind of blow through these because we have 4 shows to talk about. So King of the Ring tournament, Obafemi defeats Jey Uso to become 2026 King of the Ring.
Or did he?
He did. We'll talk about it. Io Sky defeats Liv Morgan to become the 2026 Queen of the Ring.
Yes.
Seth Rollins defeats Braun Breaker in a steel cage match. Trick Williams defeats Ricky Saints for the U.S. Championship. Funny story there. I don't know if for those that watched the show, maybe those that didn't. Little Yachty did a people's elbow on Ricky Saints after the match. Tiffany Stratton defeats Jade Cargill to retain her WWE Women's United States Championship. And the news that seems to be polarizing the internet wrestling community, Sami Zayn defeats Cody Rhodes and Gunther to become the new undisputed WWE champion.
It was very, it was a very weird reaction.
Before you expand on that, let me just explain my point of view real quick for that. For the main event, I am not mad. Again, I am indifferent to Sami winning. I'm glad he got an opportunity to win the title. It should have come 2-3 years ago, number one. And number two, weird fucking finish. Just kind of rolls him up and that's it. Like, that's going to cause issues, I'm sure, but I did not like the finish. I didn't care for it at all. Okay.
Excuse me. I think the problem with the multi-man match is, and I've always said this, is if the one fall thing has always bothered me, I've always been someone that's like, if you're in a triple threat match or a fatal four-way, it should always be elimination. So that way you don't have that conflict of, well, the champion did get pinned. That didn't happen here. Champion got rolled up, which, yeah, I mean, you can't have that little shock finish, but I agree with Mac. I would have liked it better had Sami hit the haluva kick or, you know, maybe a blue thunder bomb or something instead of it just being like, oh, quick roll up, 1, 2, 3. It's like, because then it's like a flash finish at that point. It's, you know, like a possum pin or something of that nature, like you trigger on 2K, the 2K wrestling games.
The play possum button.
Yeah, exactly. It's like R3. Like, you know?
I wasn't playing possum, but that is kind of what it felt like, given what you just said about the game. I mean,
flash finish.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, he did hit a blue thunder bomb in this match. He did hit a haluva kick on this match, but neither of those moves factored into the finish, which, fine, okay, but the manner in which he won, I didn't care for it. It's a shock and awe finish, and you know, it was in Saudi Arabia, so of course they're going to put Sami over for a change, but I did not care for it. Taking it back just for a couple minutes here, I mean, the rest of the matches I was okay with. I was happy with. I didn't find them overly surprising. I am surprised they put Oba over, considering what we found out on Monday, that he is not going to challenge for a title at SummerSlam. He is instead going to face Brock Lesnar in the Hell in a Cell match in Minneapolis at SummerSlam. I don't hate that, but why'd you have him win then?
Why'd you have him win the King of the Ring then?
And, you know, there are people that are like, yo, cool, that's awesome. He should finish against Brock, but it's like at the expense of a world title shot.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
It was one of those things. I'm watching that and I'm just like, this makes absolutely no sense. Like, it's just, it didn't make any sense at that point. It's just like, well, then have Jey Uso win, because
I don't think anybody wanted that either. That's the problem.
No, but if we knew Sami Zayn was winning, Jey Uso wins, there's a story there.
100%.
There's a story there. First challenger for Sami Zayn being out of the box at SummerSlam, it's Jey Uso. There you go. That's money. That makes sense. Then you have Brock come out, nail Obafemi. Then that sets up perfectly for the third match, which will be Hell in a Cell at SummerSlam. No problem there. The problem I have is Obafemi wins the King of the Ring, beats Jey Uso, and Sami wins at the end of the night. Okay, fine. But then it's like, okay, so who's Oba going to challenge? You know, there's that question. No, we're just going to do Brock, and Oba will just challenge for it later. When?
Which is fine, and I don't hate that, but it's like, as you're talking, the only thing I can think of, less towards what you're saying, but just more towards the situation holistically, we'll talk about it in a minute, is I feel like they're backing themselves into a corner and booking themselves into a corner.
That's all they've ever done.
Because now you have this. On Monday night, we also found out that it's going to be Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns for the title at SummerSlam. Immediately after winning Queen of the Ring, Io immediately challenged Liv for SummerSlam for that title, which is her right. She won Queen of the Ring. But okay,
Liv might be the only active champion going into SummerSlam.
We don't know that yet, but yeah, you're not wrong. It's just I don't really understand, and I feel like you teased it during the Women's U.S. title. You're probably going to have Jade Cargill versus Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam as well. I don't hate that, and I don't hate some of the stuff that they're doing, but it's like some of it, I feel like they're working themselves into a corner. And now after that steel cage match, and after what happened on Raw, I kind of wonder what's happening with the Vision, if anything, too. Seems like they're just
apparently they're going to break that up. That's the big rumor coming out of that.
Which they probably should, but it's like...
Well, they should only because of the fact that, like, that damn thing has been cursed since day one. Like, you think about Rollins getting hurt, even though Rollins was self-inflicted. Then you have the weird shit happening with, like, Braun Breaker. That hernia was weird. Like, he did something that people have done 9,000 times on Raw, and then which is flip over the table, and then it's just like, eh. Then you have Bronson Reed get hurt in the middle of a match, and he's been out since, but apparently he's been cleared, but they haven't brought him back. And then you have, I think, Logan Paul, he suffered the torn triceps, and then at that point, it's just like, when the only guy that's been not had the injury bug is Austin Theory, you got a fucking problem. The one guy that's the least valuable in your whole group is the only one that didn't get hurt.
You know what? It's funny you say that because I think I finally turned the corner on Theory.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not saying he's the top guy or anything, but he's serviceable. He's more serviceable than he was a couple years ago.
He is serviceable. I'll give him that. They had to drop that gimmick with the selfie thing. And then
absolutely.
He had to go into that period of exile to kind of get that rinse off him.
Yeah.
Now I feel like he is in a better position now to have a good career in the company than he was 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, 100%.
So
100%.
That I'll give him. I feel like now he's in a much better direction. Maybe something will come of it. They can turn him into a high mid card, maybe a low main event guy at some point. I don't know. But at the same time, I'll agree with you that he has at least somewhat. They got the stink off him from before, and now there's, I think, a direction where it's like, okay, there is a path for him at least to become a star. That I'll give you.
Yeah.
Not much else, but I'll give you that.
I mean, he's not a bad worker either, but yeah, I mean,
no, he's not bad.
The gimmick was awful. It was good for, like, when you first started, sure, but you got to get that off at some point. I mean, listen, overall, I didn't hate this show. I thought it was a decent show. I thought the in-ring work, not great, not awful, though. Definitely spoke for itself in some matches. Mm-hmm. I do think the storytelling in the triple threat match was actually really good. Gunther just kept throwing Sami out of the ring every time he got in it. You can't really go wrong when you're telling a story like that. I just thought the finish was just incredibly weak.
I felt like that should have been one where it was like the finish, he needed to hit his finish.
100%. 100%.
Because it's just like, because it's like, he needs to hit his finish because you need the attention to get build up. Oh, crowd's into it because he's going for the kick. He hits the kick. 1, 2, 3 count, the whole play. Like, you don't do that when all of a sudden it's like a quick roll up because then it's just like, did you beat me though? Did you?
Yep.
Or did you just have me pinned for 3 seconds?
That's immediately... I'm not going to say the exact thought, but definitely close enough to what I had when I saw it. I'm like, okay, so you got him down for 3, but did you really beat him?
Exactly.
And that, to me, kind of detracted from the finish, too. I'm not going to lie. And, I get it. Sami Zayn, we've talked about Sami Zayn and how his character work has always been good. It's just they're booking him in a weird spot right now. Now he's the WWE champion, and it's just, I need somebody to come out and just... They have already
they've already taped SmackDown, of course, because they want to be able to give people July 4th.
Right.
So Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes fought to see who is going to be the number one contender to face Sami Zayn for this coming Monday on Raw. Cody Rhodes won, so it'll be Cody versus Sami on Raw on Netflix on Monday. And it also will be taking place in Chicago.
Well, I was wondering when he was going to come back, so I guess you pretty much just told us.
So, all you need to know on that is we could be hearing, look at my... Well, I don't even know if you'll hear his entrance music. You might just hear him just come out and screw somebody over. The question is that who's he going to go after? Is he going to go after Sami Zayn, or is he going to go after Cody Rhodes, or is he going to go after both of them? Or
maybe he doesn't go after either of them, and he only comes out after the person who's won challenged him to SummerSlam.
That's true. I mean, we could be. There are rumors saying that Sami is not going to be a transitional champion. I keep hearing that conversation, like that report that's like he's not going to be a transitional champion. Then the next day you're hearing he is going to be a transitional champion. I don't know at this point. I really don't. I did not expect to come in here with about a month and a half, 6 weeks out, 5 weeks out to SummerSlam, and Sami Zayn is in the title picture. Did not expect that.
Yeah, same.
So that is now something I'm trying to kind of have to wrap my head around, and also try to think of scenarios, because I don't know what Monday is going to look like. I don't know if Monday they're going to decide, it was just like a tease. Or if he walks out Monday as champion. I could either way at this point. I don't know. Again, coming into this weekend, coming into SummerSlam at all, Sami Zayn was not really figured into my championship plans or championship matches for SummerSlam.
Right.
We knew Rollins and Reigns was probably going to be a thing. We knew that going back to a couple of Backlash, probably even around that, couple weeks after. Get out of my way! Shut up, Rollins. That kind of.
Well, once he started saying the title I never lost, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
just point blank. Once you say something like that, you immediately know that okay, he's gonna come for that title as soon as he's done with the division. And so I hated being right, but. Exactly, it makes sense. Just
it sucks because it's I don't want to see this again.
I've seen it enough.
I've seen it enough, but he's never beaten him. I don't care. He's beaten everybody else. Does he need this too? He never beat. They both beat Ambrose. Is that nice?
Yeah, I just don't care.
Nobody gives a shit.
But yeah, like I said, overall, not a bad show, not a great show. I think it was exactly what it needed to be. I wasn't blown away, but whatever.
It was good. I mean, it was a good show. The Sami moment, the Sami thing, I didn't expect it. That was in a scenario. It was that's not even in my wheelhouse right now.
I didn't articulate it because I feel like everybody would have just made the assumption Cody's going to win. And yeah, I think that's a fair assumption to make, all things considered, the way they've booked Cody Rhodes for the last several years. But I don't know. In the back of my mind, I'm like, Sami might win.
I'm glad he did. There's some people that are really kind of upset and have been this is the word. Somebody even said that because Dolph Ziggler won the TNA title. Oh, Nick Nesmith, whatever.
Nick Nemeth, yeah.
Nick Nemeth. Nick Nemeth won the TNA championship, and somebody said in our group chats, it's the first time the TNA champion is stronger than the WWE undisputed champion in a long time. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, fucking really? Because this is the same guy that me and him were complaining about when Jinder Mahal was world champion. Or when Kofi Kingston won the WWE Championship. And before people come at me and say, oh, how could you say the Kofi thing? Kofi was a weak champion. Kofi probably shouldn't have been champion. Big E should have been in that spot, but they put Kofi in it. Whatever. People got behind Kofi. People have gotten behind a lot of guys that I don't feel were WWE champion material.
Right.
Daniel Bryan. Kofi Kingston. See, I'm trying to think of a few others that were so well. A lot of people wanted Dolph Ziggler to be champion, and I agree with Dolph Ziggler. He should have been world champion at least multiple occasions.
Yeah,
that I agree with.
I agree with that too.
Nakamura should have been champion.
Yes,
at some point. There have been decisions that there have been people I have gotten behind that everybody else has been like, yeah, I agree. The Cody thing, yes, obviously. But now the tide's turned against Cody, and I'm like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen, but I'm still behind Cody. I was behind Roman Reigns when everybody else wasn't. I knew there was something there. They went with the right decision in turning him heel, and it was just like, now he's an all-time great. Now you got him where he is.
I just didn't care for him as the big dog.
It was terrible.
It was
sucked
bad. And I heard Paulman was on Chris Van Vliet the other day saying that he wanted Roman to come back as the big dog first, and they were like, no, he has to come back as the tribal chief. And Vince acquiesced, which was probably the smartest thing he's ever done, because Big Dog 2.0 would not have worked.
The best thing that Vince McMahon could have done. Now, to be fair and give Vince credit, Vince knew Roman Reigns could be a top star of the company. When everybody else was like, no. But he knew. He just knew but the problem with Vince was he didn't know how to present him. Paul Heyman knew how to present him.
I'll agree with that, 100%.
And since then, you can look at that and say, he's an all-time great. And again, this was another thing that the internet crowd, they wanted to end that tribal chief run early because it's like, got to put the belt on Sammy. Got to put the belt on Sammy. They didn't do it. They didn't.
I just think
you can argue it's a bad decision. Some can argue it's a good decision.
Right.
I'm indifferent on it because I was strongly against Cody Rhodes losing to Roman at Mania 39. In hindsight, going back to what Mania 40 became, I'm glad they did what they did. Looking back in hindsight.
I don't disagree with that. You know what it is for me though is they've been top heavy for a number of years at this point, because you have guys like the people we're mentioning. You have guys like Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, LA Knight. You know, a lot of guys that could fit into that top spot, and I'm missing a lot, I know, but the reason I'm not mentioning all of them is because I'd be here all day. Right? Like, there's so many top guys in your company right now. And I remember when they combined the belts into this one before they brought back the World Heavyweight Championship, and you still had a lot of top guys that arguably could have fought for that title had they brought it back sooner. They didn't, that's fine, but then you gave Seth Rollins like almost a year run with it, I feel like. Then you had Drew McIntyre win it for 5 minutes before Damian Priest cashed in on him, and Damian Priest had it for several months. Jay had it for months. And he's done nothing since. Jay had it for months at a time. Gunther had it for a while. And listen, that's great. And some of those guys, like Gunther, absolutely should have had it for a while. But then you have other top guys, and I mentioned LA Knight being one of them, who you've really not given any chances to.
No.
But meanwhile, in King of the Ring, Jey Uso can botch a kick to the back of the head and get a title shot down the road. It's just, I don't understand the methodology they have when it comes to their booking at times. And it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating.
It's frustrating to be a fan. It's frustrating 100%. To be also a pundit too, because it's like, you want to invest in LA Knight as a fan. You want to invest in a lot of these other top main event talents and it's frustrating because you want to be able to buy their merchandise. You want to be able to use them in a video game. You want to be able to root for them. And the key is, And the one thing that people need to realize is when you like a wrestler, I don't care who it is, you want that person to become a world champion. Not the Intercontinental Champion, not the 24/7 champion, not the European champion, not the hardcore champion. You want your favorite wrestler to become a world champion. And it is absolutely frustrating when that guy is knocking on the door and you know he's over because all your buddies are like, yeah, this guy's the best. Love this guy. And all your friends that have tapped out of the wrestling business, but of all of a sudden they see clips of him and they're just like, this guy's awesome. And every time that he goes for a world championship, he fails. And then you're just sitting there and you're like, why am I investing in time in this guy? Because he's a loser. He's never going to be world champion. And then the foundation of that fan base starts to erode, and then they're damaged goods at that point. Because that's what you're doing in LA Knight. But I've seen you do it several. You did it with Nakamura, perfect example. They were singing his song, for Christ's sake. They were singing his entrance theme. And you have him job out to Jinder Mahal in fucking Brooklyn.
I felt like that was Sami Zayn.
Can you tell that scar hasn't healed yet? Because it hasn't.
I can tell. I feel like that's what they're doing with Sami. It happened in 2017,
for Christ's sake, and I'm still pissed off about it.
I feel like this is what they're doing with Sami Zayn, too, because people are going to start to hate him as world champion, too. Because they already started to turn on him anyways. And now...
Because it's part of it is because Sami does not look like the larger-in-life person that, like...
I don't care about that. I don't even feel that Cody does either. I don't.
Cody does. Cody fits into the narrative of
he does to a degree.
Bret Hart. He fits into that mold of like a Bret Hart, though. It's like you look at Cody and it's just like, yeah, the man, and also he has the pedigree of it too because of his dad.
True.
But also too, he's got a lot of lineage behind him, and two, you know, we're never gonna get to the absolute 100%. Everybody is happy with the world champion again. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's not going to happen again in my lifetime.
Probably not.
And it sucks. It sucks because you want to be able to be universally loved, but it's never going to happen because there's always going to be some fan base that's just going to sit there and be like, they just start nitpicking of like, and it's just, that's exactly how it sounds every fucking time. Sami Zayn, finally world champion. There's a lot of people about it. There's a lot of people in the locker room really happy about it. It's a morale booster because everybody else that's around him that been waiting for him, that's seen him knock on the door most of his career, going back to when he was El Generico in Ring of Honor, they're all thrilled. But then you have the other ones. Every fucking time. Every time now. You cannot have a universally beloved, you cannot have someone that people can get behind because you're always going to have that little nitpicker being like, well, actually, shut the fuck up. It's so maddening sometimes. It really is. And I know I was just talking about it earlier because there were people that I got behind, that people got behind, that I just didn't understand it. But I was one of those guys, but I wasn't one of those people just going out and being like, ugh. Because I understand what the business is about is. I get it. But I also don't understand some of this obsession with a lot of the internet wrestling community over certain talents. The obsession that some of you guys have, and then all of a sudden it's like they make it to the mountaintop and all of a sudden they suck. It's like they sold out. It's like a band. It's like you get behind these guys all these times. Like, I've been seeing him since Ring of Honor. I've been behind him since he was in PWG out of that rec center in fucking California. And all of a sudden they make it to a major company that's not AEW. They win the world championship and they're persona non grata. They are the biggest piece of shit in the history of the industry. Because that's literally what happened this past weekend.
Happened twice, if you think about it. Because I feel like, to your point, nobody is more, I would say, at risk for that conversation than Jade Cargill.
Oh, yeah.
And she continues to prove that she has gotten so much better in the ring.
Exactly.
And it's
Jade's worked. Jade's put in the work. People can sit there and say what they want, and trust me, I've heard it over the years, but I got behind Jade Cargill even before she was in WWE. I'm like, she's in the wrong company. And she went to the right company, and she's done nothing but gotten better. The only reason why Jade Cargill was in the wrong company in AEW was the fact of that was the reason that she was not as refined as she was, because she didn't have the tutelage or the people that could kind of teach her. And that was also too when the women's division over there was not exactly, I would say, organized. Where now it's more organized. That women's division in AEW is miles ahead of where it was when Jade Cargill was in the company.
I just think too that there's two, I would say, big causes, not just the locker room atmosphere or leadership or lack thereof even. First is she wrestles a very different style than half of the AEW roster, regardless of male or female.
Right.
I feel like she already was trying to wrestle the WWE style, but nobody there took to that. But it's also, she plays to her strengths, and her strength is literally her strength.
Yes.
So she's going to look big and clunky compared to other female talent, which she should. But it's, when you have these 5 nothing girls that are all cardio, it's like, that's not Jade Cargill's style. There's nothing wrong with that either, but it's like when all of the rest of the locker room wrestles a much different style, I feel like it shows. And I think people kind of don't take that, or really I should say they take it for granted. Whereas you have a match with Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton, who Tiffany is no slouch either, honestly, let's be real, but she could still wrestle a different style. But she could work with Jade because she also has some power game too.
Women wrestlers have to deal with the worst of the fan bases, not only because of how they look and how they're presented, but also too because every single one of these guys is looking for them to screw up every single time, which is why, and it's not just Jade, it's Becky, it's Bayley, because that's all they want to do, because they just want it, because they have it in their heads that women's wrestling is still beneath men's wrestling. And it's like, guys, it's caught up. At some points, it's even surpassed the men. You need to get on that train.
Yep.
You need to finally realize, hey, women's wrestling is actually a marketable and also a draw.
Yep. 100%.
Get on the fucking train. Get out of the fucking gut, and it's not, and I'm not trying to come off as woke. Because people are automatically, you would sit there and be like, oh, you like saying that because you're woke. No! I have an eye for talent because I've been a fan of this shit for 35 fucking years.
I'm saying it because it's true. It's
that too.
It's just 100% a factor. Like I have said it in the past too, that I feel like the women talent sometimes put on better shows than the men. It's true. It's 100%
but it's
true.
It's just the attacks that you deal with. It's not only, it's the women of having to deal with the credibility issues constantly that they're questioned of, which they have no right to be questioned of at all, because they have proven without a shadow of a doubt that they belong to be on the main card. They belong to be in the main event scene, whatever. They've earned it. They've earned that right. Because there are a lot of the men talent I look at and I'm like, how the fuck do you still have a job?
I don't know. I wish I had an answer to that question, but I don't, unfortunately. We should probably move on, though, since we have 3 other shows to talk about.
It's true.
So I might as well just stick with WWE. We'll talk about NXT next. So same thing. I'm just going to read through the matches and the winners and stuff. I feel like just the first match alone was a little surprising. Tony D'Angelo defends and retains his NXT championship against Naraku.
That was the opener?
I'm reading it right from Wikipedia, yeah.
All right.
Yep. NXT Women's North American Championship, Zarya defends and retains against Tatum Paxley. Shiloh Hill defeats Tristan Angels. Ren Sinclair defeats and retains her women's speed championship against Ariana Grace, which was over 3 minutes. So I don't know how that works. Thought speed championships speed was supposed to be 3 minutes or under.
Yeah, that's what I was led to believe.
Okay. Saquon Sugars defeats Dion Lennox. Miles Bourne defeats and retains against Tavion Heights for his NXT North American Championship. And the NXT Women's Championship, Kendall Gray defeats champion Lola Vice to become the new NXT Women's Champion.
Wonder if they're going to be calling Lola up soon.
Or if they have AAA plans for her or something. I don't know.
Probably. But I mean, too, they got, they are Damian Priest and her an item, so that could be.
That is true.
That
is true. Could be a factor. Who knows?
Who knows at this point? Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like Lola just won the title, too.
I think she won it at Stand and Deliver, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a few months, but yeah. Let me see if I can look really quickly, but I'm pretty sure it was at Stand and Deliver. Yep. Stand and Deliver, Vice defeated JC Jane and Kendall Gray in Triple Threat to become NXT Women's Champion. So she had it for 85 days. 85 days,
right,
3 months. Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, they might be giving her a call up soon.
I think they should. I mean,
they should.
She can get over it in her own right. I don't think there's any detriment to calling her up, obviously. I feel like...
Oh, I love me some Lola Vice, so, yeah, if they want to call her up, just put her on TV. That's fine.
I just played the Ron Simmons Damn for you.
Damn.
That one. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a little confused by the placement of the matches. I'm surprised that the NXT Championship went on as early as it did against, a Speed Championship, a North American Championship for men and women, and then obviously the Women's Championship. I was a little surprised they opened, but I don't know. I don't know.
All rise. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. I do find it interesting, though. I really do, because at the end of the day, I don't understand the direction of NXT if you're not going to put the belt on Naraka or Evil, as it were. I don't really understand that.
I mean, he did just debut, though, too.
I mean, it's been a month. You've had guys come in and win in less than a month.
I understand that, but, it's been a month. He's going to be staying... he's going to be staying with the long term with the company, considering his wife is now, is on the main event.
He's 39? He's 39, yeah.
It's still, they can... I'm not... He just literally debuted. Even though to me, Tony D'Angelo is still being world champion of the NXT champion, I'm still like, what? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, too. So... All right. I don't know if there's anything else to unpack there.
Not much, no.
Okay. Dealer's choice. Which one are we going to talk about next?
Talk about Slammiversary, and then because we'll go in the order of importance.
That's actually why I asked, because I don't think either of these are really that important at this point.
Well, Forbidden Door is important.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's debatable.
Let's not
say debatable.
Hey, look. All right, look. Let's not come off as we need to start being a bit more open-minded when it comes to other wrestling companies sometimes. And
so hold on. You say that we're about to talk about TNA, we're about to talk about AEW.
Yes.
I just feel that neither of these shows were super important. You could make the argument for AEW being slightly more.
AEW was important, and then we're there. This is kind of. Slightly important. I mean, I wouldn't say it's in the standings of All In, which of course is now starting to take shape. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it still holds. I mean, have you heard the latest on AEW? They're profitable.
Well, we'll talk about that. Let's talk about TNA before I lose even further track of the conversation.
Yes.
All right. Same as the other two shows. So we start with the pre-show. Elena Black defeats Indy Hartwell and Mara Sadie. in a triple threat match in 5 minutes. The other pre-show match was Ricky Souza defeating Eric Young.
Elena Black, you mean the same one that this was, of course, the former Cora Jade, right? This is the same one that was left the wrestling business behind when she got released, is now winning in TS now.
Who said she didn't need to go back because she made so much money on OnlyFans? Yeah, that Cora Jade,
that one,
that Elena Black. Yep,
that makes sense.
All right, so Ricky Souza defeats Eric Young in 6 minutes, also in the pre-show. We go into the pre-show. I'm sorry, we exit the pre-show, I should say. And for the Ultimate X match, which was for the TNA X Division Championship, Cedric Alexander defeats Amazing Red, Fabian Aichner, Frankie Kazarian, Casey Navarro, Leon Slater, and Mr. Elegance. I did not know there was a Mr. Elegance now. Okay. A singles match where if one participant lost, the other would have owned his name, likeness, and music catalog, and that is Elijah defeating AJ Francis.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. That's dumb. TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. Demon X Bunny, which is Rosemary and Allie, defeat the Elegance brand of Heather and M by Elegance. Next was Mustafa Ali against a mystery opponent, which was apparently a triple threat match for the TNA International Championship. He defeated two people, which was Rich Swann and Ua Nation. I don't understand why you had an open challenge. You made a triple threat match, but okay. Okay. I guess we just don't make sense anymore. A no surrender match. Moose defeats Eddie Edwards. For the TNA Knockouts World Championship, Zaya Brookside defeats Leah Ying Lee. 4-way ladder match for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. I guess I ate my words from last week. The Broken Hardys defeat The System, The Righteous, and The Great Hands. Those are some names of tag teams, my friend.
They are never going to lose those tag team titles, I don't think.
Probably not. Probably not. And then you already kind of said it earlier. TNA World Championship match. Excuse me, I almost said World Tag Team. Mike Santana does not retain against Nick Nemeth, who is now your new TNA World Champion.
A little post-mortem from that show. You heard Eric Young lost to Ricky Sosa. Eric Young is now gone from the company, and likewise for Mike Santana, as he lost to Nick Nesmith, and he is gone from the company.
I think he let his contract expire.
Correct, but he's still gone for both. Have gone from the company.
Right.
Where Eric Young, it's surprising only because of the fact that he's been a TNA lifer, besides the little cup of coffee he had in NXT, which makes me wonder, will he go to NXT back there, kind of transition, because things are different now. He doesn't have to deal with Vince McMahon's management. He's really not around.
True.
Or so they say.
I did not know that he is 46 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it makes sense too, because he was.
No, he's been around for a minute.
He was on that TV like really early on. And they've been on the air now since like 23, 24 years, which that reminds me, I have to check out the TNA or Jeff Jarrett version of the TNA Jeff Jarrett episode of the Dark Side of the Ring. I saw some clips of that, but I haven't seen the whole episode, where they actually talk about the Karen and Jeff Kurt Angle situation, which Karen never really discussed it openly before. And I actually watched her talk about it. And I was just like, okay, now everything makes sense. Like, why didn't you just say that 20 years ago, though? Like, or 15 years ago, instead of just like everybody just villainizing your poor. Yeah, because. Never mind. It's fucking ancient history. Why am I even going over it again? We're talking about fucking 3 modern shows, and here am I talking. But I think the only thing was that kind of led my mind to it, because we were talking about Slammiversary.
Right.
And on top of that, everything that's going on with TNA, because every week it's just another sign of them, I feel like, just circling the drain. So But now, the thing about it is this company has been on life support 95 times. But now I honestly feel like it is on life support. Like, literally, they're on life support again, and the DNR signing has already happened. It's just like, any day. Like, because when you have Eric Young leaving the company, when you have Tommy Dreamer leaving the company,
Right.
These guys were there forever. That, to me, is a sign of, it's almost like a canary in the coal mine of, who knows? It could be, there's a lot of sides like that nowadays of people leaving and your department, and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose and no one knows what's going on. It happens every day in the workplace.
Ah, shit.
So I guess we can move on to the AEW show, Forbidden Door.
Yep.
Sorry to go on my TNA rant.
No, you're good. All right, same as before. We'll just go through the winners, talk about it after. In the pre-show, we have 3 matches. Drilla Maloney defeats Daniel Garcia. Okay. Micah defeats Sky Blue. That one actually surprised me a little bit. Divine Dominion, which is Megan Bayne and Alina Cross, defeat Thunder Rosa and Olympia. This was for the AEW World Tag Team Championship on the women's side.
They never lose those titles.
Yeah, I don't think they are either at this point. I really don't think they are at this point.
They're like the Hardys. We ain't never losing these titles. No, you're not.
I think they'll drop them when Megan Bayne leaves. I feel like that's the only way they're going to drop them at this
I don't know
point.
if she's ever going to leave.
I hear there's interest from other companies, but I don't know her contract
Well,
status.
I mean, obviously there's other, yeah, because you look at her, it's like, yeah, of course they're going to be interest from other companies.
Yep. So we move into the regular show now. The Young Bucks defeat El Sky Team, which was Mystico and Mascara Dorado, and Unbound Co. in a 3-way tag match.
Fucking banger.
Yep. Kenny Omega defeats Zack Sabre Jr. John Moxley defeats Bandito by submission for the AEW Continental Championship. Moxley retains. Shota Umino defeats Pac for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Who didn't see that coming? Thekla defeats Starlight Kid to retain.
Pac didn't have any visa issues, so he was able to do the job, no problem.
I guess so, yeah.
All right.
I got the joke, don't worry. Thekla defeats Starlight Kid to retain the Women's Championship. Cope and Cage retain the WWE. I'm sorry,
Starlight
AEW.
lost the match? Oh, no.
Yeah, again,
that's
shocking.
That's going to piss some people off up over the...
Again, shocking, I know. AEW World Tag Team Championship, Cope and Cage defend and retain against the Dogs, David Finlay and Clark Connors. Owen Hart World Cup Final for the women, Mercedes Moné defeats Maya World. Again, shocking.
Yeah,
What?
not really, because there was that finish, like the last 90 seconds to 2 minutes, there were some times you're sitting there and you're like, is she going to pull this off? Like there were some moments in the last, like,
I would.
No,
I would
there
have
was.
To,
Like,
hold
the
on,
fans at
hold
least-
on, hold on. I would have to suspend so much disbelief watching that match to actually feel that way.
the audience felt like that.
Right.
The audience
I
was
understand.
reacting to it
I understand
the
what you're
way-
saying. I just, again,
So it
for me,
was-
I know she was going to win that match. It's just,
It was still a damn good match, and I'm trying to put
Sure.
someone over that's been a guest on this program before, but go on.
it's not to be disrespectful. It's just not. Let's be real. You have Mercedes Moné in a match. She doesn't have a title.
I understand you have, excuse me, and you have a kind of, not saying that they're unknown or anything like that, but that you have a
Lesser
world
known.
champion right now in AEW that's not really a household name,
Sure.
where putting the title on Mercedes beating someone that is not a household name kind of makes sense. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's you're making my point for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Death's Door match. Team Briscoe, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Takashita, and Darby Allin defeat Team, apparently, DCMJF for Dog Callis MJF. MJF, Kevin Knight, Kyle Fletcher, Jake Doyle, Okada, and Andrade. So, since Briscoe's team won, Mark Briscoe will earn an AEW World Championship match against MJF.
Which he lost.
Oh, they had it on Wednesday? That's dumb.
They had it on Wednesday.
That's
He lost.
so dumb. Wow. Okay. So now that you've taken the wind out of that sail, thank you. The last match, which I don't understand why this was the last match when you had that match right before it. Will Ospreay, again, big shock, defeating Sturm Strickland for the men's Owen Hart Cup final. He will receive an AEW World Championship match at All In, which, as Dan and I had already discussed last week, and Dan reminded us of it earlier, All In will be taking place in Wembley.
And where is Will Ospreay from?
I think he's from England. Shocking.
Shocking, I know. So the question is who will Ospreay be challenging at All In? Because if you watched Dynamite on Wednesday, MJF did defeat Mark Briscoe to retain the championship. Then Kenny Omega challenged him to a match, which will be happening this Friday night. Well, I mean, this Wednesday night of recording. So this is coming. This is, if you're listening to this July 4th weekend, this will be this coming Wednesday night. Kenny Omega will be challenging for MJF AEW World Championship. However, there's a catch. If MJF wins, Kenny Omega can no longer challenge for the AEW World Championship.
Why does he have to do that? Didn't he do this like a month or two ago already?
He's done it twice. He was the reason that Cody was not, because he screwed Cody over back in 2019.
No,
That's
no,
why he was.
Hold on. I don't care about 2019. I'm talking just strictly within the last 3 months.
Yes, he just did this with Hangman, yes.
Yeah, with Hangman. It was like within the last 3-4 months, maybe, if that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was that. Why do you need to just do that again right now?
Especially doing it to someone that is, one of, if not in the conversation of the last 25 years, one of the greatest wrestlers ever. So removing him from the World Championship picture, which makes kind of me thinking, because they've been doing a lot of stuff with Kenny and Will having kind of like exchanges and all that stuff. And they had one again on Wednesday, and makes me wonder.
Listen, I don't hate Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the title. I don't hate that at all. But don't force it with this just stupid bullshit of, well, if he doesn't win, he's not going to get a title shot ever again. Even though you just did it.
They can manipulate this, though, with Will. Because let's just say that MJF at some point loses. So MJF beats Kenny, but Will beats MJF, and then Will starts fighting to get that contract kind of like voided, that rule voided, because he wants to face Kenny Omega for the championship. And then you can have Kenny do like a heel turn and completely fucks him over and then wins the title. Like, you can do that. You can get out of it this way, because Ospreay can go later on and just be like, get it reversed. However, in my opinion, it's Wembley Stadium. You want to sell the fucking bill. You want to sell more seats. And it is a wrestling company first before it is an entertainment company. It's got to be Kenny and Will.
Can you say that again for the people in the back, please?
It is a wrestling company, not an entertainment company. You got to do Kenny and Will. You have to do Kenny and Will Ospreay at All In for the AEW Championship. You have to do it. It is not even that you have this now on your platter. You have to pull that trigger. Because MJF, to be quite honest, he's probably looking at it as, I can lose the championship 95 times and it still doesn't matter. It's not going to affect me. And he's right.
Oh, he's
he can
100%
lose the
right.
championship now, and it's not going to affect his legacy whatsoever. Just because, but he lost to Darby a few weeks ago. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That character, it doesn't matter because he could just keep winning the title 100 times and it's not going to matter. Plus, I think he wants to now pass John Cena. In his mind, he wants to pass John Cena. I think he wants to do that.
I was thinking the better analogy for him would be Ric Flair.
Yes.
I do feel that John Cena is not a bad analogy in terms of like belts and number of
I meant the championship record. Right. I know it's Ric Flair. I still consider it Flair's because of the fan championship.
I agree. But at the end of the day, I was thinking it more in the vein of like he's very much like Rick in the sense that Rick's was always over. He didn't need to have the belt. He just didn't. And I see MJF is very similar to that. He could lose the belt 50 times and win it 51 times, and it's not going to hurt him at all. It's just not. And there are other guys like that too that fit in that category, but Rick's obviously the top one that comes to mind. And Rick was a great talker. He was a great in-ring worker. So is MJF. You know, I'm not going to hate it if it's Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. I wouldn't hate it if it's him and MJF either. I'm not going to lie. If you want a match that's like a dream card match, put these two in the ring.
You've done it before. I know that the argument's been made that you've done it before. Kenny and Will have fought before. But this is
for the belt,
the stakes for the World Championship.
Yep.
In Wembley Stadium. And if you're going to coronate Will, I'm sure Will is going to want to be like, yeah, I want Kenny.
If he has any say at all, yeah.
Yes. And that is, I think, the direction that you should go. But that's completely like, who knows? Maybe Tony Khan is watching this and he's just like, I like the way this kid thinks. First of all, Tony, give me a call.
Are you hiring, sir?
Are you hiring, sir? Let me come work for you. I will gladly. I'm not going to move, but I'm not moving to Jacksonville. Let's face it. I will definitely come to the shows though, and put me on the private jet, fly up. It's fine. You know, we can work this out. Honestly, I think the more time has gone on, and I really have to throw a lot of praise at Tony right now because he has cleaned himself up so much in the press. It's not even funny. How he is handled now in podcasts, how he is handling these press conferences, he has completely changed my perception of him and how he handles the media. And for him to be able to do that, I have to give him a lot of kudos. And that, because I feel like that they have done the last 18 months, the last 2 years, AEW has done every single thing right to try to get themselves in a better position. Because 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I was like, I don't like what they're doing. But they have really kind of cleaned things up in the last year to 18 months.
I think when he would do interviews in the past, you could very much tell he was a fan first and not an owner first. Whereas now I think the opposite. You know, he's more of an owner now than he was before, and he's still a fan, yes, but that has taken a back seat. Which I'm glad to see, because I remember some of the promos he would come out and do just randomly, and I'm like, why are you out? Why are you talking? Now it's just like, you know, he doesn't come out as much. You see him in backstage segments, sure, but they're quick and short-lived, and he's not really talking. And, you know, in the regular media, like you said, news, interviews, and stuff like that, he comes across much differently. I don't disagree with that. Comes a lot better than the owner of TNA at this point.
Oh,
not like that's saying much. Not like that's
not saying much at all. But it's I mean, TNA right now is just like, oof.
It's the best analogy I have for TNA right now is when you go into some of these old stores and they have like these pits of like items, like, and it's like you're digging for the best deal, and you might find something cool in there, and otherwise you might find like, I don't know, some really old, shitty Jean-Claude Van Damme movie that nobody really wants to watch for $2. And it's like, do I hate myself enough to watch that? That's TNA right now.
I've found some really good bargains in those.
Oh, me too. But
markets.
I've also found a lot of duds in those things
Oh
too.
God! But yeah, you'll dig through it and you'll just be like this 8-pack of Steven Seagal movies, but they're never the good ones. They're always the shitty ones. Because look, and I always say, because that's my argument, people. Because everybody can sit there and say Seagal's shitty. Yeah, he is. He is shitty. The majority of his films have been shitty. I'm not gonna lie. He hasn't made a good movie in 35 years. That 30.
I mean, I don't even remember the last movie he made. Period.
Years.
So it
exactly
very well could be the same time frame.
But it's just like he did make some good movies, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, the 8-pack is not going to have anything good in them. You're not going to get Out for Justice or Hard to Kill. You're going to have like a lot of things that'll be like The Replicant or the Secret Service something. I don't know. It's just this. I remember he did a movie with Rob Van Dam once. And then I saw that Stone Cold Steve Austin did a movie with Danny Trejo once. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like,
thank goodness.
What is going on here? But yes, you're right. That analogy for TNA wrestling is perfect. It's just like diving through a bargain bin, trying to find something great. But most of the time, you're just sitting there and you're like, oh, let's see, Minions 7. Okay.
That is immediately what I thought of those. Like just those bargain bins of like movies that you find. And it's like, you find a really shitty movie for like $2.99. It's like, do I hate myself?
The knockoff version of Aladdin, not the real one.
Well, the funny thing is we're talking about this. I don't know if you saw in the news that PlayStation has announced that they are no longer doing physical media after I think 2027 or 2028.
Yeah, I'm actually a member of all the physical media groups.
Sure, they're all up in arms.
Oh, of course, but I love the headlines of that they always come up with. Physical media is dead. Like, here's my problem with Sony right now, because they're eliminating the physical media realm of their hardware and software, which is fine. But then you have shit from like 2 or 3 weeks ago when they had to remove like 500 titles from their digital library because they lost those licenses of them, which included films like Terminator 2, a few others. And yes, you bought them on PlayStation Network. You technically own them, but when you lose the license, you don't own them.
Right.
They just take them from you, which is why I still have a lot of movies on physical media because I don't want to deal with that bullshit.
Well, it's the same with me in games, honestly. Listen,
it is.
At the end of the day, right? Like, I don't collect games like I used to because the cost of owning a game has increased exponentially since I started gaming, obviously.
Yes.
But there are still some that I will hold on to and not trade in. So I still have like old ass PS1 games. I'm sure I have Nintendo games somewhere, even though I don't have the system for it anymore. But at the end of the day, they're just those games. It's like, you'll replay it, so keep it. So just like random off the top of my head example, like Red Dead Redemption 2. Like people own that. Skyrim, whatever version of Skyrim people own, like I get that. But as time goes on, it's like they're not going to keep building consoles or even computers. Computers don't do it anymore either, where you have 0 disk drive. And like objectively, right? Like I'll go on like my computer and I'll buy a game there sometimes because I entrust the longevity to last more than, like you said, like the PlayStation Store. Right? But like you can't do that with GTA 6 because it's not going to be on computers for like over a year after release anyways. So it's just tough. I get it from both perspectives. I do think things are going more digital, but like you said, it's like if all I own technically is the code and you remove that from your store, I'm kind of shit out of luck.
My theory is this. As far as physical media goes, I think with film, it's different. I think with games, there's really not a need for it anymore, to be honest.
To a point.
To a point. I mean, you're with your PC collection. I mean, when was the last? I mean, they got rid of disk drives on most PCs years ago. You can still get the USB drive, but they have been. I mean, PCs have been moving in that direction long before Xbox and PlayStation made the decision to do this. And even if you get, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to say is I think the most recent iterations where you have the option.
Yeah, that's fair.
Was them doing a test case, honestly, because you had a digital version and a physical version. Now, granted, the physical version can do both, but primarily you're going to get it because you want physical media. Same thing, obviously, with the digital. If you don't care about having the physical media, then you just buy the codes and do it that way. So I think this was their test case, honestly, and I think they saw the results and saw that people don't really care as much based on, whatever sales they had. So that's why they're like, okay, full speed ahead, let's do it.
I think my concern from a film fan perspective is the fact of that Sony was the one that came up with Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Sony is the company that came up with Blu-ray. And because of this, I am wondering if they're going to stop producing physical media format also now for film and stop also supporting physical media players like Blu-ray players and 4K players as well. And if we're going to be heading in that direction, because can't really buy a VHS player anymore. Really can't. Like, you really can't. I'm sure there's companies that still make new ones, but guarantee you it's going to cost you a little bit. And I don't want that to happen because, at least with the physical media stuff, because it's like, again, the still movie, like, I'm still going to own Ghostbusters and like Back to the Future on Blu-ray or 4K probably till I die. So it's just one of those things where I might be able to have the media, but I might not be able to have the format supported like on a player because I might not be able to get one. And that's the fear that I have, a direction that we might be headed in of this might lead to kind of no one's going to be able to get a 4K player. No one's going to be able to get a Blu-ray player now. Everything is just streamlined. Mind you, when I got my Xbox, I got the digital only one because it was cheaper. But I really try not to use my game players as my movie players like I used to. I try to have separate now.
I don't think that matters, but I mean, if it really did, I have like a PS4 and a PS3 both in storage. So I mean, I could use that as opposed to using my PS5.
Well, I use my PS4 as a Blu-ray player now because I barely use my PS4.
Right, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't need to use my primary system. I could use a system that I've already had, and it won't really matter.
My PS3, I had to just junk because the Blu-ray feed, it would stop playing Blu-rays, so I couldn't even play PS3 games on it.
Oh wow!
So I was just like, So, but. And I have a set in upstairs in my living room. I have a separate Blu-ray player because, it's. I'd rather. Number one, the game system is for the basement only because that's usually my hanging out area, and then upstairs it's like, yeah, I'll put a movie player up there, but not really a game system because I'm not going to try to fight for TV time up there. You kidding?
I get it.
I hate to be that guy too that comes in and is just like, it is so hot out there. Oh, how hot is it? But I just love coming downstairs this morning at like 5:30, 6 o'clock and I have to put the air conditioning on at 5:30 at 6 o'clock because it is just like oppressively hot. And I'm just like, the sun is not even fully out yet. Why is it like this? Why is it like this?
It was hot overnight. It was.
God.
But yeah, I stay cool. If you have to go out, it's supposed to be a hot one. I think pretty much everywhere in the United States, but definitely in the Northeast, the North quadrant of the country, especially. Just stay frosty.
Enjoy your 4th.
Enjoy your 4th as well.
Here
Yeah.
in the United States, enjoy your 4th. If you're in London, again, sorry. I mean, even though right now you're probably like, good, you could fucking have it.
Yeah.
Start throwing shit. Fuck it. But enjoy your weekend, everybody. And, you know, if you catch up on wrestling or anything like that, there's plenty of it to watch out there, of course. SmackDown was pre-taped, but you can watch that tonight. Raw, Monday, Sami Zayn defending his championship against the former champion Cody Rhodes. Maybe CM Punk is going to come back. All good stuff to go over for the weekend. All good stuff to think about. SummerSlam roaring ahead. Yeah. It's going to be here in about 5 to 6 weeks from now. So it's going to be fun. So on behalf of us here at PWW Talks, enjoy your 4th, enjoy your weekend, and we will see you back here next week. Bye, everybody.